Wait, do you want to get another one, Karen, before we start?
No, I'm just.
I am, like, in all seriousness, I am just going to get another 2 cans to the table.
I'll just drink Matt's beer if I need to, and he's just shot me the worst look in the world ever.
Right. By the way, I'm recording all this. So
I have just been shot the worst look in the world from Matt.
Oh dear. Is Rob back yet of his tins or?
No, I think he's disappeared. How you doing, love, anyway?
Yeah, I'm all right.
Good,
You?
Good. Yeah, living the dreams.
Yeah.
Living the dream at the minute.
Right, well, whilst he's away, I might as well introduce us then. So this is our Corona special, but we are in no way doctors or anything. We're not talking medical advice. We're just talking about what we can do whilst we're all sat at home, I guess. So you're listening to the Band of Brothers. Oh, Jesus Christ. Band of Brothers podcast with me.
Band of Brothers.
Yeah. Watch that. That's like 13 hours, isn't it?
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Get you through the whole isolation period.
Yeah. Right. With me, Rob Gowling, and Karen Webber. Don't worry, Rob. I've just introduced it. Hit the credits.
Woohoo! Good evening, everybody. Remain indoors and listen to this podcast. Stop laughing, Simon. It's not funny. We do not talk about the event. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Karen. Good evening, Simon. How
Good
are
evening,
you?
Rob. I'm fine.
Living the dream, Rob.
Living the dream.
Living the dream.
Just to ask, are you guys both at home now? And you know,
I am always at home.
No, but
We're
not
all at home
as in
because we
not
have
allowed to go to
remain
work.
Indoors.
Yeah.
Not allowed to go to work. No, absolutely not.
Right.
Why have you not been at home, Simon? Are you a carrier? Have you done something?
No, I'm in. I'm in still. I mean, we should say
You
this
better be
is
inside.
what is it? This is what day is it? Tuesday?
No, we're on Wednesday,
Wednesday.
aren't we? I don't know. I've been thinking it's Friday all week. I've been living in hope, I think.
I think I had a dream it was Friday, but I was unemployed on Friday. The dream wasn't so better. Yeah, I'm drinking again.
And that we're all drinking.
Yes,
to
I
be
am.
fair.
Yeah,
We are.
Yeah.
What are you drinking? Let's keep it simple to start with. Let's build it up. What are you drinking?
I have a rather fabulous New Zealand Marlborough on the go, to be fair.
Oh, what year? 2020? I hear it's fantastic.
Ridiculous. It's the cheapest that the co-op have got that's in stock.
The corner shop piss for Karen.
Well,
what are you
the
drinking,
local,
Simon?
no, the local Sainsbury's is running low on white wine. I think it's.
Oh, come on. That's the one thing that
Graceful.
wasn't touched in Aldi. Everyone's
I know.
leaving that alone because they haven't worked out its hand sanitizer
Oh,
yet.
I'll be sending Matt to Lidl tomorrow.
Couldn't believe I was able to
Lidl.
buy a bottle of bourbon. Lidl, yeah, that's another one. Simon, what you on?
Right. I've got one. What's this? It's a Peroni, one of the novelty bottles, 620ml. I've got a Coors Light from the aid station from this evening. And
That's a story coming up.
And I have an unopened bottle of Argentinian Malbec.
Oh, that is a
Unopened?
threat.
Unopened, yeah. Because I'm on the novelty
Karen,
Corona.
give it time.
Corona. I'm on the novelty. What's it? Peroni.
Peroni,
Yeah.
you said.
You, Rob.
A variation of some IPAs that I managed to scavenge from Aldi because actually no one is buying beer for some reason.
Why?
You think actually this is a bit of a time for beer?
It's because they can't afford toilet roll, Rob.
No, it's because you can't find toilet roll, so you've got a lot of disposable income suddenly.
Got to win
what
it,
are you
haven't
going to
you
wipe
guys?
your
Got to win
backside
it.
with? We'll come on to what you can wipe your backside with. I think that's a topic on its own. Right, so we're in the middle of a global pandemic. We're not going to talk too much about the actual pandemic itself. We're going to talk about, well, what the hell do we bloody do about it? Not like fixing it, like occupying ourselves and, I don't know, helping people and nice things like that.
Mm-hmm. Well,
So-
what are you doing about it, Rob?
Well, okay, right. So, like, let's real talk, which of course it's going to not be. Practical stuff you can do. So, a lot of us working from home right now. A lot of us probably going to be potentially in the next few weeks locked down at home, self-isolated, whatever you want to call it. Well, what do you do? Like, you're a runner. A lot of people listening to this were runners, right? Or were interested in running, or I don't know why else you'd listen to it, or why you'd listen to it at all. But you're interested in running, or you do it. What the fuck do you do when you can't go outside very much, or you can only go outside on your own? And, like, most importantly, with we've lost our events. We're not allowed to talk about the event, but we've lost the thing that basically is, I've been saying recently to everyone, it's my bloody social life. And it's affected me quite a lot, but I've now started to see the funny side and work out practical measures. So maybe the three of us between us can come up with some stuff you can do to stay fit, stay mentally fit, as important as the physical side, and get through all this crap.
Should we introduce Karen quickly? Because I don't think we've done that. I mean,
Everyone knows Karen. But yeah, Karen, go on.
Know about that, Rob.
Who are you?
Who am I? I don't actually know, to be completely honest, at this point in time. I've been so involved with
You know what day it is? You're better than he is. We don't talk about the event.
No, I'm going to let you introduce me, to be completely honest, Rob, and then I can put you right.
You're taking the piss, right? Karen. I'll go first. Simon can add on, because he's emotional with all this stuff. Karen is an absolute superstar. Karen has run 11 marathons. Karen is not, just a runner herself, or has been a runner. She is deeply interwoven, I'd say, particularly in the ultra community these days, but has for a long time I've wanted to get Karen on, because Karen supports through a lot of aid station volunteering, a lot of just basically telling people to get the fuck on with it, volunteering, and has crewed some seriously big and scary races. Not me, but I remember when I was crewing somebody else, I was like, shit, I'm going to talk to Karen about what the hell you do to bully someone for 100 miles in the right way, because she's just provenly good at it. And that's what Karen is. And Karen is amazing, but has always been nice to me, because I'm not a serious enough runner to get bullied. So I just get nice things like hugs and little chats. But yeah, anything to add there? Have I nailed it?
Yeah, Simon just cries on my shoulder.
Oh, no, I've done that once.
Simon doesn't cry. He's not a proper human being. He doesn't have emotions. Come on.
Oh no, to be fair, it was his first sub-3, and he was really hungover and hanging out of his arse as well.
I know he was hungover.
I'm loving this.
Are you actually?
No.
No, but you did well, didn't you? Bless you. We've talked about that. Let's not talk about Simon anymore. Get big head.
Yeah. No, you were hanging out your arse.
But was I right though? Did I nail it? Did I nail the
I've been, Hang
on, she's got.
Can I say my favourite Karen moment? Just really briefly. Favourite Karen moment.
Oh Jesus.
Is when I'd watched you crew one Graham Carter, another brilliant runner we know, through the North Downs 100. Where I had gone and high-fived him on his way into the finish, and then I'd come back with my runner, who was the last one in, and as we got in, probably a couple of hours after Graham had finished, maybe an hour and a half, I looked over as I jogged in and let my runner do his little finishing lap, and saw you, Karen, passing said runner at John Smith's, and just shouting over to me, "All right, Rob!" On a sunny day in Ashford, where we were allowed to go before the event.
It's all about the booze, mate. No, it's that finishing line carrot. That's what it's all about.
You've got the modes, though, haven't you? You're just this is all about you. But you've got those modes of when you need to kick ass and when you need to do something practical.
It's about when you crew, it's about being able to switch it up. It's being able to cope with the JFDI and seriously do get the fuck on with it, because you're running out of time, you're running close to cut-offs, whatever, and actually you've got the capacity in you to be able to do it, because people are just getting a little bit too comfortable with where they're running time-wise, as opposed to seriously get the fuck on with it, otherwise you're going to miss it. And I mean, yeah, I've got a lot of favourite finishing moments, and seeing GC finish that North Downs was just awesome for me. I've got an awful lot of favourite finishes, but GC's North Downs was a particular favourite because he did it for his dad as well. And
I'll give you a favourite finish if you're lucky one day.
It was particularly special.
Yeah.
I don't know where that came from. It's the lockdown talking.
I'm not sure where that conversation is going right now, Rob.
It's not going anywhere.
Matt is sat next to me on the sofa. I'm not totally sure that he needs to know that either.
What was the words there, Rob? You just said.
I think everyone heard it. We don't need to repeat it. This is recorded. Let's carry on. So Karen basically is with us to talk about this because Karen is also in her day job, like a continuity business manager type thing. I've got the acronym wrong, but you are basically into disaster type planning. So you're going to help us.
OBC
You're
manager.
going to help.
Yeah.
You're going to help everyone through this disaster
Oh, I
in
didn't
a
know
way that
about
Simon and I
that.
just are not qualified for. So
I'm drinking my way through it, mate. I don't know what everybody else
we
do.
all are, Karen. Remain indoors. So, so point one, come back to it. Practical things you can do. So I waffled on about it already. What things do you guys sort of suggest for people who are running addicts like us? You know, how are you going to deal with it?
So from the practical side of things, I think the real key thing to focus on is that the government guidance at this point in time is that it's all about the social distancing piece. It's not about self-isolation unless you have symptoms or someone in your household does. So you can still go out for a walk, and actually this kind of applies even if you're in self-isolation. You can go out for a walk, you can go out for a run, you can go out for a ride on your bike, you can do whatever, provided you're maintaining that social distancing piece of the 2 meters and whatever. So you can absolutely be in touch with people that you live with and what have you. You can go out for a walk with them, or maybe 1 or 2 really close contacts that you're going to see on a regular basis anyway, so that are in and out of your life. So for example, that would include potential childcare arrangements for people that have potentially been impacted by the announcements today. But it's not a complete ban on people going outside, and this is what's really frustrating me at this point in time, is that people are seeing it as it's, oh my god, we're being told to stay at home, and that's really not what's happening.
No, just on that though, just from anecdotal, because we all know, like everyone's probably glued to it. We've all heard there's like different measures, different countries. Like Italy was like full lockdown, France was big lockdown, but you're allowed to go walk your dog. Spain, people apparently had been told off or like warned by police for going jogging.
Yeah, people are being fined in the streets at this point in time in certain countries in Europe, and that's what we do need to bear in mind, that may come. But they are not in place at the moment.
Not right now.
But if that does come, Caroline, and you're out, maybe. No, I won't go there. Right, go on, carry on.
What?
if it comes, and it's a big if. And I'm the same as everybody else. I have absolutely no fucking idea what's going to go on. I've got to be completely honest. We're kind of at the government's whim at this point in time as to what they deem is going to be necessary and what's going to be required. But all of the PTs that I know are all moving to online platforms.
For sure.
There is so much online streaming now of things like yoga sessions, weight sessions that you can do with stuff that you're going to have in the house, all of that sort of stuff. Physical exercise helps to get the endorphins going, and it really helps to help promote the positive emotions, as opposed to really getting enclosed in your own head.
Yeah.
And all of that is going to be really beneficial. We're going to be actively promoting it across our guys that I work with, and I will be absolutely pushing anything that I see from friends that I see that are PTs that are doing stuff online across every other bloody media that I can find.
And you'll be out there cranking some virtual marathons, will you, Karen?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, you will.
Yeah, well, I haven't run for 3 years, Rob. You'd say that I've done 11. I'm running. I'm running a step in bloody week.
Step in my bloody life, but like I will, because I'm glass half empty all the time, and I'm thinking of, what's the worst case if they confine me to my house, my garden. But I do think even in the worst case, like, so as not to scare anybody, I think you'll still be allowed out, like for a dog walk, for a brisk walk on your own.
I've not got a dog.
No, but you are a dog. For a little walk on your own or whatever, or a little jog or something on your own. Someone might ask questions or whatever, but I don't seriously think it's going to get to that point.
No, I think it will be, provided you are on your own and maintaining those social distancing measures, you'll be absolutely fine.
And if anyone wants to Skype me during a run, I'll happily sing to them.
This is ramblings of two drunks, isn't
Christ.
it?
Yeah, go on, Simon. Bring some focus to the discussion, please.
Well, I thought the question was what we doing. What can you do?
Yeah, what are you doing? Tell me what you're doing. Come
Right
on.
now or what? Or just well, right. Look, my running club at the moment.
What are you wearing? No.
My running club at the moment, right? I'm actually eating a spud at the moment, but yeah, my running club at the moment are doing like we've been put into teams, and we just have to. You get points for like however many miles you clock up each day. So you get 1 point for walking up and down the stairs for an hour or something if you're self-isolating.
Yeah.
A couple of points for 5k, 4 points for a 10k, and then nothing else. So
go on, get on with it. What do you get for a sub-3 marathon?
No, it's just 10k. You can't. No, it's 10k is the maximum. It's not about time.
Oh, they've reined you in. Nice.
They have reined me in, but I'm still doing marathons. So I'm going to do a marathon around a different village each day.
Well, you're not well, are you? So it's good. Good for you. No, that's good to know though. Like you're doing a marathon every day, are you then, Si?
Well, the 10 in 10 that we were going to do is postponed. So
yeah.
Well, I guess
heartbroken.
Yeah, me too. So I guess I'm just going to do one until I get told that I'm not allowed to do one.
Yeah. I know that there are companies that are encouraging people to, or encouraging competition between staff members to hit things like step counts or do a certain number of squats when they walk in and out of a room and all that sort of stuff. And all I can see is the positives from that. I think it's really beneficial. It gets people thinking about what they're actually doing outside of being locked into the laptop or the computer or whatever, because that's what's really tricky when you're at home, is just getting super locked into what you're doing
and just seeing the bloody news all the time.
Absolutely, honestly, that's what's killing me off at the moment. I turned around to my boss yesterday. I said, I think what's depressing me the most is the fact that at this point in time I've been living in News 24 for the last 6 weeks.
Yeah, it's crap, that, isn't it? It's rubbish.
And mate, they've threatened to lock the door up to the roof access just because I keep threatening on a regular basis to throw myself off it.
Remain indoors, please, Karen. But, Two things I'm doing, like genuinely doing. I've started to do something I did about a year ago, like to help with my running anyway, and I've just been putting it off, to be honest. But now it's like, well, do more of it because you have to embrace it. I've got a punch bag in my garage, so I've been out there listening to like Eye of the Tiger and stuff, and just punching that bag.
It's Simon?
No, not Simon. Other people. No, I wouldn't do that. But yeah, just giving half an hour a day on the punch bag is brilliant. I love it. I always loved it. I don't know why I've waited so long to get back to it because it's brilliant. It helps that it's a bit balmier and sunnier outside, so that gets me out there doing that. The other thing I'm doing, which is nicer and less selfish, is I found people literally just on local community groups. And, we as runners, in a way, are sort of superheroes because most of us are an age or a fitness or a well-being that we should be able to get through this patch relatively well until we're ill and we have to stay at home. But I've offered to do shop runs. Like, I'm going to do some virtual runs, which we'll talk about later. I'm going to do some virtual runs through some of the groups like Phoenix, SVN, or whoever's offering them. And I've offered to give people who are having to self-isolate because of their age or their illnesses and do shop runs for them, like of milk and stuff. And I'll only have my little backpack or my ultra pack with me, my hydration vest. But I'll run to Sainsbury's, get some milk, run back again, drop it off at their house, then do the same with, I don't know, cereal and everything else and do several trips because that makes it a less pointless virtual run. And I'll still complete my distance. I'll still stay relatively fit. And it's as nice as I've ever been to anybody. So, because I don't really like people, but I think some people deserve help, and that's a way to do it. To make me a good person.
Sorry, do you want us to clap or?
Well, what I really want, Simon, is a fucking medal. But at this point,
they're still in China, Rob.
Yeah, I don't know, a tiny violin or something. But even then, it's like, well, I'm going to do it anyway, so why can't I do something good while I'm fricking doing it, rather than run around the villages like Simon, just selfish bastard.
Yeah. No, I've got my own team. I'm getting my points for my team. Been put into
you're just trying to beat them all because you're a prick.
I'm not beating them all. You just get the maximum you can do. Your maximum points you can get is 4 for 10k. So. I could just be doing 10Ks and getting 4, but I think
I'm sure you've already lodged a complaint with the committee.
No.
We'll move on.
I'm inspiring, hopefully, Rob. Inspiring people.
No, but serious question, Simon.
Yeah.
You obviously do a fair bit of gym stuff, and you don't just run. You're not like me, an absolute spud.
Mm.
And Karen, you do your reps of the wine. But what can people do? Like, I'm not even.
Yeah,
joking
are
at
you
this point.
kidding me? Are you?
No.
You asking me
What
to
do you-
say? Oh, look, let's just dumbbell some paint pots or something. What do you want?
Well, no, kind of like that. I was thinking more baked bean cans, stockpiled them, but things like that. Like I had a PT. He's now struggling because of this. Karen referenced PTs and how they're struggling, and to be honest, I can't go to the gym at the moment. I just can't do it, and they might be closed soon. But for people like that, they have, because they're brilliant, some of these guys, they've offered, like, hang on, guys, you can do these home workouts. And I just thought you might have some ideas for that. Things like planks, things like, bicep dips or tricep dips on the chair. What are you going to do?
Sit-ups and press-ups. That's it.
Sit-ups, press-ups. What else? Is that all it takes to get guns?
Yeah, pretty much. Well, I don't know. What are you saying? I don't have guns, but, yeah.
Compared to me, you do. Unless mine are just buried under miscellaneous. I don't know. You go to the gym. You're always going on about it. So I thought you might have some specific things that you're going to crack on doing when you can't go to the gym.
No, I've literally haven't.
All right, Karen, you got the guns. What are we going to do? Let's sort this.
No, she's gone. She's gone. Sounds like it. She's having a top up somewhere. She's gone.
Probably if you're going to top up. She's probably run out to the shop to panic buy some more wine.
Just you and
Still
me,
open.
Rob, innit? It's just you and me.
Well, it sort of always was, wasn't it?
This is going really well, isn't it?
I think it's going really well.
So what was your next one? Because that's just not going anywhere. I mean, if I'm stuck in the house, I reckon I'll just be resorted to sit-ups and press-ups.
She's gone, mate, so we're going to start the skin in a minute. But
We're making Simon's life harder.
Stop talking. Right. So after we lost Karen, she's now back. Right, cabin fever,
Yeah,
Rob.
sorry.
You want to talk about? So Karen, you've just gone into the kitchen for a fag. Rob, you telling me you're going for a fag? Yeah.
Shut up. So yeah, well, I'm anxious because of the event. Remain indoors, everybody. But the thing is, like, so okay, we've talked about some practical things you can do outside, inside the house during it. But for those that live with people, and this isn't even just a meme, but like it's kind of like, husbands and wives, sons and I don't know, parents and whatever will struggle because of the amount of enforced social contact and activities and stuff. There's only so many times you can play Monopoly or whatever the hell you're going to do. I mean, I don't have a family or anyone that loves me, so...
You do. You do, but you don't live with them, Rob.
Isolated. I live for this shit. What are you guys going to do? You have people that care about you and you stuck in with them. So how do you deal with that? Cabin fever.
I'm going to bury him under the patio, to be fair.
You've just got engaged.
I know. I'm still going to bury him under the patio. Yeah, that wedding won't be happening now, will it?
Joining the Fred West Gardening Club. That's not too soon, but it's just too dark. No, but Karen, seriously, how are you going to deal with it, or are you just not going to deal with it?
So at the moment, it's because it's such early days. It's all about kind of, for me, it's testing the broadband and how it will cope and whether we can be in separate rooms. To be completely honest.
Can I just remind you, you've just got engaged.
Yeah, I know, but we still.
And also, there are people that need that broadband for Pornhub, so don't be so bloody selfish.
No, I think, to be completely fair, we've probably killed Pornhub between us. So,
What?
you know.
We can't release this. We can't release this.
I'm running out of tissues.
Oh, come on, guys. We can't release this.
So, we'll stop recording then. No, it is going to be hard. We've actually had the conversation last night and tonight. I'm basically evicting him from the office because at this point in time, I need to be able to get online and to do what I need to do from home for work. Obviously, our income stream from the timing work has disappeared overnight.
So Kat, to explain to listeners, you two have or it's mainly Matt, is it? Chip monkey, isn't it? Chipmunk timing?
Timing monkey.
Timing monkey.
So for races and the whatnot, so Matt was there on the track on last Friday, wasn't he, Rob?
Yeah, it was
for
second to
30 odd
last
hours.
job. Second to last job before everything kicked off. So it is tricky times, and it's really hard. Everybody's feeling it. But there is no income stream anymore, but there's stuff that he can do to kind of work on stuff that he was going to do in the background anyway. So he's got some plans. It just means that I might displace him from the designated office area in the house so that I can take that over, and I can effectively get up, get myself sorted in the morning and go to work. I think the key message is that even if you're working from home, it's to try to not fall into the pattern of, well, sod it, I'll just stay in pyjamas and do whatever and just crack on. It's keeping some rhythm and some schedule to what you do, and to make sure actually that you take a break away from your computer and you do the hours that you're supposed to do. There feels like there can sometimes be quite a lot of pressure when you're working from home to do a bit more than is necessarily expected. That's not really the case. My work is very much focused on output as opposed to presenteeism, if that makes sense.
Yep.
Does that make sense to?
Well, yeah, it sounds like just get the job done and we'll leave you alone type thing, is it?
Yeah, and for my part,
especially with the school closures that have been announced today, I think that's going to potentially lead a bit further for employers to take that kind of approach. I wouldn't want to preempt anything like that, but I think they're going to have to take that approach because there's going to need to be a degree of flexibility for people, particularly if partners and what have you aren't key workers, so childcare becomes an issue. It's really critical that people keep talking to each other. I've got a daily call booked in with my team, just literally to chat shit. It's not even to talk about work, it's just to go, oi, how you doing? What you've been up to, how you've been.
Yeah, same here.
Do you know what I mean? It's just
doing the same thing, and we're making fun of each other's houses, and people are making fun of the fact that mine looks like a 13th century shitty castle today.
Well, that's because you're
tomorrow I'm putting all my
your
marathon medals up tomorrow. So I'm going to be like, yeah, there we go. I've done some stuff. So I'm just going to re-angle the camera to show all that shit. But yeah, it's but the thing for me, I think, is the working from home isn't always an opportunity. Like, I am used to working from home, but only one day a week, and we'll probably get more done then. And people always do say this, it's a bit of a meme, but it's like you can, because you do it at different times. You get on the computer a bit earlier if that is your work, if you are someone who's lucky enough to be able to work in a bloody light box, and you get a bit more done in the morning, you get a bit more done probably late in the evening when stuff's still filtering through from people who are also working at home. The hours just change, don't they? But to the previous topic, go do your little wine box kind of kettlebell session in the middle of the day or something, and don't get on the wine then. But yeah, just adapt slightly. The day might be longer with work, but take, like you're saying, Karen, like block time out. It's like, that's for you, whether you need to go to the shop and buy loo paper or something like that. And just don't be constantly on it or wired into the news whenever you're not. Go do something different, go outside as long as you can, and do something else.
It's really not good for people's mental health to be wired into the news on a 24/7 basis at this point in time. That's where I'm suffering from a particular form of fatigue at this point in time, just because I have to, and I'm trying to keep as on top of it as I possibly can, but I'm also fully aware of the fact that there are members of our workforce that are out there that are absolutely stressing their nuts off about this at this point in time, and I need to be really careful about what news I'm distributing across the business at a leadership level, for them to cascade down. And it's not healthy for anybody at this point in time to get totally obsessed with what's going on social media. There is so much fake news. I nearly got tricked out by one last week or beginning of this week. I don't know
Whenever it was.
Know where we are now. Yeah, whenever the fuck it was. I nearly got tricked out by a fake tweet a few days ago and nearly sent some incorrect information to our senior leadership team within the business, and that would not have gone down particularly well at that point in time. So it's really important for people to kind of keep some separation from what's fact and fiction.
So Karen, you're doing really well with this.
What, for the fact that I'm really a bit pissed?
Yeah. Well,
this has been my life for the last 7 weeks.
Well, Simon, you're not pissed, so bring
I'm
some
not.
sensibility on top,
what's the
because
question?
Karen's obviously like a pretty big deal with this stuff. What's
Yeah.
the question?
Yeah.
Well, the question is, well, how are you going to deal with the fact you have to work from home? I know you've been one of the last.
Yes,
well,
I still
you
went.
got off the last chopper in Saigon. You've been in like 28 days later today.
Well, no,
haven't you?
I went up to town today, right? I've taken pictures. There is nobody there. I was at Waterloo, literally nobody. Down the tube, nobody. We're still live, us lot, at my work. So until they say something as drastic as lockdown, we're still going. I think.
Such vital work you do with your clipboard, Simon.
Yes, exactly. So so we're still going.
Well, the thing people have to though, like,
exactly.
Let's not be silly. Like, it's not like bloody Blitz or something like that, is it? Like, it just isn't that. And let's not talk about what it actually is, but it isn't that. But you have to remain indoors, as I said so. But it's no, you've got to like keep whatever normality you can get to through all of this, runners or not. You've got to sustain some normality, but like, just listen to all the advice and be smart with it. Like, just look after yourself and the people you know are vulnerable and stuff like that to the illness, and otherwise keep on with your job. But a lot of people, not to go into it, but a lot of people, like, I'm self-employed too, so this is going to be difficult. But I mean, I've ordered a treadmill.
Ka-ching.
I don't know where this is going. Ka-ching, yeah, but I think I need it, so I'm going to do it. I'm going to focus on those things I think are human priorities for me and the people I care about. And and it's like, Karen, you're looking after your team as well while they're still working in a difficult place.
Yeah, Matt was talking about ordering a treadmill earlier. I told him we've got enough to worry about paying the rent, to be completely honest. So it's interesting
Trigger warning.
times. No, it's interesting times at this point in time, and the thing that I keep saying to people is this is unprecedented times that are taking unprecedented measures, and we need to look after each other as well as the best that we can, which means just staying in touch.
Though, Karen? I mean, yeah, we can all do that, but really, I mean, let's say we're on lockdown, right? I mean, not, we're not, but so just give me a text or whatever. That's no good, is it?
No, stuff like this, Simon, will help, right? So
yeah, absolutely, stuff like this will help. We've moved to Teams at work. There's Skype. There's all sorts of web tools that make people available to each other. I've seen posts on Facebook earlier that have said that people are setting up their community groups on WhatsApp, and it might be that it's not neighbours that they've ever spoken to before, but they're all now part of a WhatsApp group just to make sure that they're all doing okay and if they need anything and all that sort of stuff. And I think that's the real positive that needs to be taken out of this, is that people really are looking out for each other. And there's a real acknowledgement of the fact that we're trying to look after the most vulnerable in our society, and that's absolutely the way that we should be moving forwards. That's the real key to the social distancing measures that are being put in place. Even with race directors, they've been put in such an impossible fucking position.
Yeah,
that was
at
horrific.
This point in
Was
time.
it yesterday? Monday, Tuesday, whatever. It's just going through all that.
Yeah.
That's it. That's an interesting thing to talk about, because so me and Rob are in a group with a few others, and when it was all kicking off, and slowly you'd see every race director, throw it in and say, "Yep, we're going to have to." And then you, with Rob and I and the others were just like, oh no, they folded. Right, who have we got left? Who have we got left? Who's still hanging on? And it was just ridiculous, wasn't it? But
just for the right reasons, because obviously, like with all the stuff we talked about before, it's like the sustaining of mental health, and it's not because I want to put numbers in the spreadsheet or anyone else wants to do it. Some people might. It's about, that's my friends, that's kind of my running family, which someone like me who lives on their own, it's one of the most important things I do. It's the thing that keeps me balanced, if you can ever call me that. But it's like I sort of need that. That's my mecca. It's the thing at the end of every week I know that I'm going to have, if I have a job, to go to that's outside of that breaks me out and makes me feel sane. With a bunch of insane people, let's be honest, but it keeps me on a level. So I'm just looking and clawing for something I can do. But I am seriously, genuinely more worried about the effect it's got practically on people who are race directors and who rely on that, not for an income, but the people that go there as well, that need this. Probably there's always going to be someone who needs it more than we do, and it's like that worries me. And we have to find a way. I don't care if it's, people missing me singing to them when they're running, which they obviously are. So I've even offered to do like virtual runs with people and say that on the hour, every hour during our virtual half marathon or whatever, we'll just call each other up and do a duet or something.
Oh my God.
Silly little things like that.
Jesus.
Simon, you're welcome to join.
No one needs that, right?
No, but everyone wants it, Karen. So, and no, but silly little things like that will get us through, have a few weeks or whatever it is. Like,
No,
this nonsense.
This is really hard times for all race directors at this point in time. I mean, mass gatherings or gatherings of any intention have been put a halt to. I mean, like I mentioned earlier, we've seen all of our timing jobs have literally disappeared on Monday night through to, I think it's the end of April earliest, probably more likely,
It's probably
I think,
beyond that, isn't it?
to the end of May, possibly into June, but who knows what will happen. It depends when things peak. If we follow based on my professional experience, just with following the Chinese figures, if we follow their model, then we should be back up and running in June. But who knows what the UK government are going to do? And at the end of the day, we have to go with what government guidelines advise. And UKAEA, British Triathlon, all of the significant bodies have tied in with what the government has said, which is absolutely the right thing to do, and says, we would advise that there are no gatherings and etc. So that means all races. That puts people in a really fucking hard position, but it also puts people who are entered in a really hard position, because exactly what you said, Rob, some people use these races, or utilise is probably a better word, because it gives them that social perspective. It gives them access to other people who are thinking in the same way. And that's what we as a community need to start thinking about, what we can do to start thinking about what we can make different in order to utilise that and access each other even when we can't be there one-on-one.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
Totally.
It feels really key to me that we all stay in touch, irrespective of the fact that we can't all be there on a mass start at a marathon or a half marathon or a 5k or a 10k or whatever. I mean, Parkrun has announced today that they're going to cease activity for the next few weeks for the foreseeable. So, running in groups, which is absolutely the right thing to do, has been ceased. So, what can we do as a community to get around that?
Yep, and I think it's been, absolutely amazing. I can't even single anyone out because they've all been brilliant. the two that obviously have led in terms of virtual run advertising, and I've never done a virtual run. I've never thought about it because before I just never considered it, never considered the need for it. But right now, it's what we need. We didn't know we would need it, but we need it. And I think virtual runs with the kind of, you know, as you say, Karen, the practical measures to actually just keep communicating with people during it, because it's a virtual run. But we love each other, all these people that go running. We love sharing our stories. You can call someone on the phone, that's not a problem. And they're there with you. You can put a little headset on. I don't care how daft I look. I'll run around with my stupid headset and my microphone on, and I'll chat to my friends while I run my half marathon or whatever, for as long as I'm allowed to. And I'll enter a virtual event if it makes sense to do so. And SVN and Phoenix have put on some brilliant offerings in terms of the next few weeks, because I think, like you say, Karen, that's when we're in it for. If you need
I think
that,
White Star are doing the same as well, to be fair, yeah.
Yep,
So,
and I'm sure they all will.
There's an innumerable number of race directors that are moving to virtual, and virtual is great, but we need to keep talking. Everybody needs to keep talking. And that's the key to it.
And point B is, seriously, guys, like, help your race directors who have been so good to you. Not to wax lyrical about it, but I've entered a lot of events. I'm sure, Simon, you've probably entered a lot of events. They've either been moved out, but the race directors are moving heaven and earth to get around all sorts of things, and they are incurring a lot of costs. And we won't go. No point.
I haven't even bothered looking yet until the dust settles. Like,
bloody hell, you know, what they're doing is they're making sure that we don't lose out because of this shitty situation. And I just can't have enough love for that. That's amazing. What we should do is look to the future, think of a time and think of your goals, and think of the fact that things like, you know, the Global Marathon Challenges, for example, you know, I wanted to do 52 and 52 marathons. I was on way to it. I was quite close. It's annoying I can't finish it now, but let's look at what's going on and think about it. That's on pause because of the brilliant people behind it. But when it comes back, I am ready and, like, loaded with whatever money I have or whatever to get into those events again. So look at the events in the future, as well as doing all your practical stuff at home. Like, just, you know, get ready to do something else and to achieve those goals when the time comes. Just like people are saying with the economy, it'll be ready to sort of bounce back and we'll all be up and going. But things we can control our, you know, goals and our journeys and all the things we want to do. And do what you can in the meantime, but be ready to go and support those people who have moved, you know, heaven and earth, like I said already, to help us and alleviate us the costs. Because it didn't have to be like that, but they have all, and I won't name them because it's all of them, have been superb, and we need to support them because they are struggling and they are not whinging about it. So we need to help them out.
I think the race directors have done absolutely the ultimate that they can do at this point in time. You know, they've all been completely thrown under a bus, to be fair. And for a lot of them, this will either be their livelihood or it's something that they do for the love of the sport. And for the love of the sport, that's why we need to be understanding. I've seen some really upsetting posts actually over the last couple of weeks where people are really getting quite aggro about why haven't we had refunds, why haven't we had this, why haven't we had that. It's because your race has been cancelled 2 weeks out and all of the costs are committed.
Yep.
And it's really hard sometimes for people to understand how much upfront cost that there is. And it's pretty much 90% of what you've paid has gone out in upfront costs ahead of a race, and then 10% covers everything else that the race directors had to deal with. And if they're having to deal with cancellations and all that sort of stuff, it just compounds things. It's really, it is a really hard situation at the moment for RDs, and I would just like to echo that sentiment that please give them a break. It's really fucking tricky at this point in time. You know, we don't know what's happening over the next couple of months, everybody's suspended in accordance with EA until the end of April. But actually, we don't know how long this is going to go on for.
Yep, and
So,
they're doing everything they can, right?
absolutely
They're doing everything they
everything
can,
So sorry,
And
and they're
sorry,
trying to stop us paying.
It's defo end of April.
No, it's
EA
not.
EA at the moment are discouraging events until the end of April. That can change though, Simon, because government guidance could be actually, do you know what? We're going down until they've said today that schools are closed until further notice. Scotland and Wales have said it could be until September.
But think about the precedent, guys, and let's not. We don't know, so we can't spread the info. But basically,
No, we don't
think
know,
think
and
about the
that's-
precedent of what the RDs have set. Whether
All
it's
of them are
SEN,
working to
White
the end of
Star,
April at the moment.
Phoenix, Running Miles, Saturn have all set amazing precedents with deferrals. So keep supporting them. Enter races as if it's going to come to be.
Yeah.
In either April or May. Practically speaking, let's look in April, right? And do it and know that they have brilliant policies in place. Go and observe it, read it, because they've all been, to a person, fantastic with offering the most flexibility ever. The thing I'd say, just from a practical point, because, we can all be burned by it, just watch if you are a traveller like me and you can't drive to races, watch your accommodation and stuff like that. Maybe save time and book that later, or try and car share or something, but remain indoors on your way to those events. But no, but book it up, guys. Keep thinking this is going to get better, because a bit of positivity, and this is me saying this, you've also, most of you who listen to this probably spoken to me at some point. I'm not very positive, but see a better future, see a way out of it.
I think things will uptick. I think things will uptick in May. I think things will uptick in May and June, and we will start to get.
So do I,
and
that's when I'm going to run my
footing.
first 100-miler, and boom, I'm going to go
And-
do it, because I've done
But
my wine box
nobody's
list.
allowed to quote me on that. That's all I'm saying.
Look, prepare for the worst, hope for the best, but just keep doing what you're doing, because obviously you're all
Mate, I'm
superheroes.
I'm knackered, so all I can do is just keep going as I'm going anyway.
You're fine, Karen. Don't worry about it. Anything to add, Simon?
Not particularly, thank you, Robert. No.
Don't call me Robert.
You've been
I
very
only get called that when
quiet,
I'm-
I have-
Simon. I'm a bit
I have been
worried
quiet.
about you.
Well, look, to be honest with you guys, I've just literally got in. You were getting aggy that I was getting later and later. I've come in. I've had half a sweet.
Don't bring your filthy laundry on here. You've got plenty of time to deal with that when you're stuck at home, haven't you?
Yeah,
So-
I've had half a blimmin' sweet potatoes and chickeny bits. So yeah.
Okay,
not
sounds
really,
good. Better than my Iceland pizza, but
Seriously,
well done.
Rob, is that what you had?
No, I haven't had dinner yet, have I? I'm
Haven't had
drinking. I had
dinner
dinner
yet?
after.
Dinner
No.
after. It's half
I
10
had
at
dinner
night.
after. Oh, I know, but
So what are you having? A
This is
frozen
what-
pizza at what, 11?
well, let's not go into it. But probably.
Well, why not? This is interesting.
It's not interesting. No one's interested in this. What do you think people are interested in? Karen's not interested in this. Karen knows it's not interesting. The things.
Don't get me involved in your
Karen knows too many interesting things about us.
Maybe speak
I
for
have all
yourself,
the
son.
secrets.
Speak
I
for
hold
yourself.
the secrets.
So your hair's so big, it's full of secrets.
Oh my god.
So, but one more thing to talk about, maybe we've sort of touched on it, but the importance of comms, outreach, and practical little things like you can do to stay in touch with runners, non-runners around you, free running or otherwise, or while you're running, whatever. Like, how are you guys going to deal with it if there is, say, a restriction or a lockdown on movement? Like,
I'm really shitting my pants.
gonna miss
about
me,
that.
Simon.
No, I'm really shitting my pants about that.
Gonna miss me?
No, but are you saying like we've got to?
No, obviously not.
Are we saying that we're going to stay in our houses for like 15
If you
days,
have
whatever?
to mostly stay in your house for, based on some of the European countries, if you have to stay in your house for basically 14, 15 days,
Yeah,
like the self-isolation,
yeah, I'm really worried
how are
about
you gonna not climb the walls?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
do
I'll be pacing like the tiger at the zoo. I don't know. I think I might actually,
You're not a fan of Trisha, are you? So
No, or
struggle.
what do you call it? Jezza Kyle.
Is Trisha still
Kyle's
on?
gone.
No, they bin
No,
Jezza.
Karen,
Ricky Lake, is she still on?
No, it's
Jeremy
funny
Springer?
because Simon doesn't have a clue about TV. He
I
never
don't.
watches it.
Seriously, I haven't turned on a telly for like 5 weeks now. But
Bloody hell.
well, I'm going to have to start, aren't I? I mean, if that happens, I mean, Mum's garden ain't nearly big enough. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to be running away from the military.
Down
out
in
there.
Isha, yeah.
I
You
don't
could
live
do a
in
marathon in
Isha.
your
Work in
garden,
Isha.
couldn't you, boy? Yeah, I know. All right. Sorry, isn't it, you posh bastard?
What the hell? Yeah, no, I'm not.
Love
gonna
ya.
get on. I won't be getting on well if it's lockdown at all.
No. Is that because of the human contact? Like, just to get into it, is that because of the human contact? Is that because like, with respect, Si, you don't probably do as much social running stuff as I do,
No,
and
I
some
don't,
other
no.
people are slower do.
I've started.
But what are you
I've
going to be
started.
missing about it? I know you've started. You're trying, but
Well, just,
you
just,
ain't got
just,
it. So.
just getting out. You know, I don't spend much time at home. I'm always really busy, so yeah, I just having to stay in these four walls will drive me insane. I think there'll be a lot more of this going on.
Well, I think people might need this. I think there's going to be a daily broadcast for people to stay indoors.
I think people absolutely will need this, and I think that's the absolute key to it. Simon, you're a bit
coming back, Karen?
Yeah, no, I'm totally coming back. Simon, you're a bit shit if you're not doing it daily. Quite frankly, you need to manage
doing this
this
daily.
Yeah.
Talking
You need
to
to
Rob.
manage it daily, love.
Talking to Rob. Yeah, no, I think it'll be a mess because
That won't help anybody if
No.
we have to talk daily. Like, neither of us, that's not going to be for the best.
Oh, you reckon?
It might help others because it might help them work through their own conflicts at home. But
what do you feel? What listening to us argue?
yes, Simon, I'm getting at. That's the joke, isn't it? That's what's funny about it.
Well,
But-
we're supposed to be doing a book, right, Karen? But Rob has done Nigel since the conception.
Sent you a little chapter last night
I know
during
you
my
did.
isolation.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
Why does this not
Alright.
surprise me, Simon? It really
Wait,
doesn't
see,
surprise
I've
me.
I've
to
almost
an
finished mine.
extent.
I've almost finished my half.
Oh, bollocks you have. As if, you absolute liar. Like, when you go into lockdown, you can do that. But no, we're going to do it. We're gonna do more of this, though. We're going to have to do more of this because
Oh, God.
people need it. Sorry, mate. Not every day.
I
but-
think I think this kind of stuff is going to become, depending on how things play out, we might be all right in a couple of weeks, and it'll all be fine. It'll all blown over, and we all will have been to the Winchester for a pint and get it all over and done with. But I think just
I
to
love
throw
that
that reference in. But I think for
Shaun
now,
of the Dead, because Simon's never watched it, obviously.
No,
So-
I have.
not you?
I have watched
Oh
it.
my
but
goodness!
it was a long time ago.
Jesus.
It was a long time
Yeah.
ago. I don't understand
Really?
the let's all have a drink at the Winchester joke. I don't get that because I've seen it
Oh, no,
but a long time ago.
You could physically feel my deflation across the phone at the point in time.
This is what I live with, Karen.
I
This is,
well,
this is my
like,
this is
you
my
clearly
isolation.
Don't live with him, otherwise you wouldn't be self-isolating.
Well-
He would be self-isolating as well. I'm not quite sure how that plays out. But
So what's your
Yeah.
plan? What's your plan, Karen, for the older isolation, not going outdoors type thing?
I'm just going to kill Matt with the knife that's in the...
Yeah, but to be fair, right, so if you did do
Draw.
that, if people did start killing people in their houses, because obviously it's isolation and stuff, nobody's going to know, nobody's coming to help. Do you reckon?
Yeah, but...
Well,
yeah,
they're
but-
all too busy dealing with real problems, and
Yeah, but my
I've got a massive
backyard
amount of
is
dirt in my garden. So.
and my backyard is a patio, so there's no way that I can lift it to stick a body underneath it.
I've got a lot of mobile dirt, so I could definitely bury a few bodies. My own, if needed, if needs be.
This might be useful.
If it comes to that, I can rent it out as. Oh, let's not do that.
Yeah, no, that might be a business model going
That's
forward.
the bourbon sort of thing.
You're on bourbon.
I'll get rid of the pointless wooden windmill and bury myself under it, or ask my housemate to do the honours and blow the whistle.
Or just bury other people and charge for the privilege.
Too grim, too much. This isn't the Blitz. This is something we have
too
to
far?
say. This isn't the Blitz. This isn't like, and I'm not into all this stuff like, the Dunkirk spirit or whatever, but there is something to be said for the fact that actually there have been bigger problems than this. There will be, sorry to say, there will be bigger problems than this in the future. But there's practical measures and stuff now.
95% of people will suffer mild to medium symptoms of this coronavirus, which involves cough, high temperature, feeling fluey, all of that sort of stuff.
Oh, Dr. Webber's in the house.
No, I'll just say it. It's only because I'm repeating it on a daily basis at work. There's a very small percentage of people that will be impacted at a high level, and those are the people that we need to actively work to protect, which is why we are moving to the social distancing measures that we're doing, which is all of the please don't get together, please don't be in one place, let's no mass gatherings, let's not do
Simon's not allowed to cry on anyone's shoulder anymore then.
No, I can't give any cuddles anymore.
only ever happened once.
Yeah, you got in there soon enough.
No falling asleep on me either, Simon. All right.
Well,
To be fair, I'm
Stay
not
on your
sure
side of the bed.
To be fair, I'm not sure whether the crying was more because he just run his first sub-3 or because he was really quite that hungover after the 2.5 bottles of red wine the night before that he just felt like absolute shite.
That was partly my fault, so I take responsibility.
Yes, no, I think you need to take some responsibility there.
Oh my God, I don't do that very well. Oh.
No, that was an awesome day, though, wasn't it? It was just hilarious.
Awesome night, awesome day. Forget about it.
Who's outside? Who's outside smoking again? Anyone?
No one's outside.
Are you sure?
No.
I think that was just someone brushing by a microphone, Si.
No, it wasn't me.
No.
No, I really enjoyed that day.
No.
It was hilarious. It wasn't hilarious.
And we'll have days like that
Honestly,
again. This is the point.
mate,
We will. Whatever
you-
happens, we're going to get back to days like that. They're going to come back. It really isn't, hopefully, going to be that long. And however long it is, we got to be ready to come back the way we are and do what we can in the meantime to make sure we don't go bloody nuts.
Well, that's why I'm doing these runs around the villages, Rob. Just still got to go nuts, haven't you? But
You're doing your little milk drop. You're doing milk drops as well, Simon. You're helping the old people around.
no, I'm not doing that nonsense like what you think
No.
you're going to do.
He's showing you up now,
Yeah,
Simon.
because you're not altruistic. You're bloody selfish, aren't you?
What is it you
Terrible
said to me at the
person.
track? It's my world.
It's Simon's world. We're all just bloody living in it, which it often feels like.
He's
More
hard.
Lucas aid
He's
for
horrible,
Simon
isn't he?
because no one else needs it.
Yeah.
Oh, I stockpiled the medicine for Simon because he's not very well anymore. Oh, bloody hell. No, you're right. You're
But
not
you
that
li- you-
evil.
what was
I make
yours?
you sound horrible.
You
You're
do,
not.
because you were banging on about you think you live in the Truman Show. You're you're Truman, aren't you?
I used to think that. I don't think it anymore, but that's really narcissistic. We all have that at some point. We all have that. I don't know. Some philosopher said it, didn't he? I'm not going to go into it because I'm not qualified. None of us are doctors. Remain indoors. But I did used to think that it was the Truman Show and everyone else was just like a little actor in my life. But Jim Carrey told us that that's not the case. So.
Oh God! Look,
What am I even talking about anymore?
I
We
don't know.
really have
What is this?
just managed to chat
It's
bollocks. Are you
probably
sure
funny,
that you
I
can
don't know
pull
anymore.
anything useful into a bloody podcast out with
Karen,
it?
mate, this is how it works. Basically, I just sit here looking at a stopwatch, right? And when it gets to the hour, I sort of try and pull it all together and say, right, well, that's good, isn't it? And can it. And then I get.
And then we wave bye.
Yeah, and then we'll go, and then we both go bye because we get what's going on. And then we used to try and be professional. We've never been professional, but we used to try at least. But now I won't. This will just go on as it is. And to hell with the consequences. Lost 200 listeners.
No, we really have just chatted shit for the last couple of hours. I'm really sorry. I've been no use to man nor beast, have I? Really? Over the last couple of hours?
No, bollocks to that. It has been useful. It has been good. I do think people will probably like something like this. A bit of normality.
I
A
think
bit
we
of
may have to go again.
a bunch of muppets just chatting nonsense.
No,
for
two
a while.
muppets. Two muppets. I was eating for most of it, and then I've just piped up because I've done the beers and now on the Malbec. So
Oh well, that,
All right,
that's a
professional.
natural progression, to be completely fair.
Yeah, just because you're an athlete or whatever. But yeah, people get something from it, and we'll do this again because we're going to have to. This is going to carry on.
Well, you do
I
know.
think we
Not
need
for too long, hopefully.
You do
we
know-
need
carry
to
on.
keep people in contact.
Well, you do know that
with
we can
real-
go live, Rob. Our
Oh,
I don't know
fuck.
I don't know what you call them.
Oh,
The-
fuck.
The podcast host people. Are you sure
What is
nobody's
happening?
outside?
What is that noise?
I bet it's
I don't
Karen.
know.
You
It's
do
not
know.
me.
It's not me.
It's not
I'm in my
me.
living room
Like,
where I'm going to be living
I've
for
got a
quite some
headset
time.
on.
Hence the name. A bit of
what?
bum shuffling going on.
Well,
No, I've got a
what's going on
headset
there?
on. Don't mind me.
so where's it
Yeah, fair
going? Oh
enough.
yeah, Rob. So our podcast people said that we can go live and like people can ring in. That-
Oh shit! Hell.
I don't know how it works, but
So we're going to become like a terrible radio show.
well, yeah, exactly. We could do like a slot from 10 a.m. to 11, although it's probably not child friendly, is it?
Well, I'm.
No, that's
well,
gonna be
no,
like-
probably
It
not.
doesn't matter if it's child friendly now, does it? Because all the schools are closed.
On Friday, is it? They're closed.
I think it probably
From
matters
Friday,
even more
yeah.
from that.
Why don't we end with this then? So, I mean, you know, kids are off for the foreseeable. Somebody said earlier, didn't they?
Yeah. Realistically,
What's the hell? What's the
4-ish
hell?
weeks because of the Easter holidays and stuff.
Yes,
So probably about
kids-
4 weeks, yeah.
My gut feel is that kids are going to be off at least until the spring term, which is after the Easter holidays.
Mhm.
Scotland and Wales.
Yeah, we don't care about them because we're in England. So what's
No.
happening here?
But they've put some
Oh
warnings
my
out.
god.
They've put some warnings out that it could be until September. So
What?
depending on how
What?
things
September?
It's just
Depending on-
potential. It's warnings,
depending
isn't
on
it?
how things peak, it could be until September, which is why the UK government have simply said until further notice.
I don't like what I'm hearing. September.
They're not prepared to commit, but if it takes 3 months to get through this, then that takes us into the summer holidays.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, remain indoors.
Yeah, no, I hear your pain. I really hear your pain. I've got store colleagues that I'm having to consider at this point in time as to what's going to happen with them. Because no fuckers buying retail, are they?
Mm-mm.
Well, these things don't exist. That we can't go into it whether we're involved in it or
Nah.
not.
No.
But basically, stuff like that, stuff like everything.
Get someone on
you know,
here, Rob, that can tell me if I have to pay nursery fees throughout this.
Okay, I'll work it out for you, buddy.
He can
but
be the first
basically,
I'm pretty sure that will be a centrally agreed process.
but we can finish on promising that we are going to give you
Yeah, yeah.
guys whatever info we know about.
Yeah.
Whatever
We can't say that. We
practical,
don't know anything.
whatever practical ideas we can help with
Oh, well,
for whatever
yeah.
comes up and when things change.
Rob's been lifting some paint pots this week. Right?
You wish I'd been lifting some paint pots.
He's been
Simon's been drinking a lot of wine,
No,
so it's all fine.
He always does that anyway. It's boring.
Don't go outdoors. We're healthy. See you
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Remain indoors and see you later.
Oh no, it's terrible.
Do not talk about the bloody event because it's boring and everyone's sick of
No.
it.
I think the biggest comms that we can get out there is that bloody talking thing. It's the people needing to communicate and actually speak to other people. It's a massive piece for those of us that are moving people to work from home at this point in time, trying to keep people connected, whether that's through Skype, Teams, whatever. That's the real key piece. And if we need to bring that in the running community, how do we do that? What do we do?
And
What
we're in a
groups are we
privileged
gonna
position, right?
introduce?
For whatever reason, deserved or not, we have a bit of an audience. People listen to this, and if you want to, outside of a podcast, talk to Simon, me, Karen. Let's
Yeah.
just get talking on the group because
No.
I'll be honest, there's not probably enough from me and Simon and anyone on the group. Let's get more going on our group, and we'll actually turn it into a bit of a hunker down, bunker down kind of vibe, and we'll get some calls going. And if you want to do a virtual run with any of us, Simon, sounds like you're running. Maybe you're doing it a bit faster. but I'm sure you're willing to chat to some people.
Well, it's
I'll
not
do
like
the
I
same.
keep up with him, is it? To
And,
be
and Karen,
fair.
you're lovely. You can kick some butt and make people complete some virtual goals. So can the three of us
can
just
do
sign
that.
up now?
I think
Say,
if
yeah,
that's
we
what you
will,
want to
we
do,
will. We're all open to it,
Totally
aren't
down
we?
with
We're all
that.
open to it. None of us is not open to
totally
it.
down with that.
And Simon, I'm not just going to call you and cry like on the phone, but you can't do it to me either. So
No,
we're all good for that.
Simon, he will.
Let's offer ourselves up
What's
for
wrong
that.
with you
Because
two?
why not?
All right. Well,
Yes.
Is that,
Looks like we've got consensus.
Is
kiddos.
that the cheers? Bye. Oh, silence. Hello,
Oh.
Rob.
I'm losing you, boy.
Yeah, no, it's not just me, is it, Rob? Is
What,
it
did you not
just
hear me?
I'm losing him.
wondering if it was my
Can you not hear me?
network, but I
Can you
don't
not hear
think
me?
it is.
The virus has got to the internet.
His virus has got to him.
Oh, hang on.
Oh no.
Hang on. Don't worry. I'm coming back.
We've lost that.
You've lost me.
We totally lost you, Si.
Am I back
we have
now?
to do this bit again.
Am I back now?
Or we'll just do an outro.
Hello. Am I back
Karen,
now?
are you still there? You're back. You're back.
Oh, just about, yes.
That is weird.
Hello.
That is weird.
I'm scared.
Hmm.
I don't like being without you. It
That's
makes me
weird.
afraid.
But I'm back. Yeah.
What were you saying, Si? You signed up to it, yeah? You signed up to the we're here to chat, do virtual runs, share goals, all that stuff, yeah?
What? As in, people give me a ring? I lost him
Oh
again.
no, I lost him again.
What is going on? Hello. Hello.
Oh,
Hello.
Hello.
I'm
don't-
scared, Karen.
I don't get
I
what's
am
going
as
on.
well.
This
I
is
think
the
he's been
this is the
taken over by the
this is the event.
Triffids.
This is the event, isn't it? What's going
No,
on?
you're a darling,
No,
Simon.
Si,
It's not
you've
working, Si.
gone fully multiplex at this point. I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
But Rob can't.
I can hear you now. I couldn't hear you
Oh, right.
before. You kept
Yeah, couldn't
going
hear
fully
before.
like robotic and
Oh,
schizoid. So
What the hell? You're saying I don't get it.
Well, stop moving.
I'm not moving.
stop downloading things off Pornhub.
I'm not.
Yeah. Or
Right.
stop streaming Netflix.
Too
I
much.
was gonna
Can't
be
release
nice.
it. We can't. We're not allowed.
No, this is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous.
It's a ridiculous situation, so we have to be ridiculous in ridiculous times. But we're going to get through this. 'Cause we're
Unprecedented
awesome.
times with unprecedented measures.
Because not all superheroes wear capes, but they
No, they
do
don't.
socially distance by 2 meters and remain indoors
Totes.
wherever possible. Totes. Oh,
Totes. And drink
So,
more wine. Oh,
anything
no.
to say, Simon, other than bye?
No, I'm quite happy just to say bye, thank you.
You're
Well,
going to
bye
have
for now,
so
but we're
much
gonna be
fun
back, aren't we?
editing this tonight.
I'm not editing it, I'm scrapping it, and we're going to do it again.
He's always like this.
I'm not. I'm really not.
Bloody Simon. It's been fun, and to everyone that's listening, thank you. I hope this does give you a little bit of, I don't know, whatever it gives you usually, but
We're-
maybe a bit more because you're in a difficult place like we are. We're here for you. We're going to do this again as soon as we can, and we love you. Keep running
When you
Stay
can,
healthy.
if you can.
and remain indoors.
Well, Rob, that'll do. Thank you.
Love ya.
Bye.
Bye.